Hello viewers, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to this breathtaking edition of Situation Report on Light TV. The Situation Report brings you 30 minutes in-depth analysis about major current events about Monrovia and its environs. My name is Yekezi Zobel, anchoring this episode of the program, and trending stories we follow in today say the Liberia National Police discloses several arrests made over the last few days. Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation promises to supply Central Monrovia with water within 90 days. And passengers in Monrovia complained about the drastic increase of transportation fare in the country. We're breaking all of these trending developments, plus so much more. Once more, I'm Yekezi Zobel, asking you to please invite someone to view along as we take this intermission. To be right back. Pleasant to welcome back to the program. And straight into our developments. The Liberia National Police has disclosed several arrests made over the last few days in the country. The disclosure was made by the spokesperson of the Liberia National Police, Moses Carter.
A 28-year-old man identified as Perry Johnson, an impersonator. Perry Johnson, according to our investigation, have duped several Liberians, including journalist Kelvin Denby. Suspect Perry has duped the current Director General of the General Service Agency, Liberia, and he's duped some other senior members of the government. What Suspect Perry does is that he uses the name of senior officials of government, purporting to be those officials of government, as a means of extracting funds from Liberians. He was caught day before yesterday evening, somewhere around 8 o'clock. He was caught at a supermarket somewhere on Benson Street. His last victim was a victim he tried to dupe in the name of giving the victim's father a job and purporting to be Jefferson Koji. And he succeeded to some extent, but in the end, when the victim got some tip of that this man was not Jefferson Koji, it is from that Suspect Perry Johnson, a resident of Brewerville, was arrested. He's currently in our custody and is being investigated. We also want to inform you, members of the press, and Liberians in general, in Liberia and outside Liberia, that we've arrested 2 armed robbers who made an attempt to arm rob the UBA Bank in Swakoko, Bon County. It was on May 21 that we arrested Prince Tweh, 39 years old, a Liberian and resident of Dupont Road. And whether he's a former or current employee, but our understanding is that he worked for a business house there, an entertainment center, Royal Plus. He was arrested along with a Nigerian national called Uchima Nweheme, 36 years of age, and a resident of Logan Town. They had gone to the bank to arm rob the bank. They grabbed the securities of the bank, tied them up, took their cell phones, and while they were making an attempt to enter the bank and entering the vault, our officers got on the scene. They were 6 in numbers, full-fledged, and were able to arrest 2. And these are the 2 that I just named to you.
That was Moses Carter, spokesperson of the Liberia National Police, disclosing several arrests made by the police over the last few days. And he spoke at the Ministry of Information press briefing held today. The Director General of the National Public Health Institute of Liberia, NPHLL, says there is no Ebola outbreak in Liberia and the sub-region. Atty. Tolbert Nyensuah's statement comes in the wake of rumors that there's an outbreak of Ebola in the country amid the outbreak of the virus in DR Congo. Atty. Nyensuah spoke Thursday at Maker's press briefing.
That the Ministry of Information wanted me to come here is to inform the public and the population of Liberia that there is no Ebola virus disease outbreak in Liberia and the West African sub-region. There is this speculation and rumors moving around that Ebola is in our neighboring countries. I won't call the country's name, but we can announce safely. We can announce safely and categorically with the authority and the scientific evidence from my vantage point that there is no Ebola in Liberia, no travel restrictions in any of the countries in the sub-region, and that we're doing everything possible to detect, prevent, and respond to any eventuality that happens. Not that it can't happen here again. It can, because Democratic Republic of Congo now dealing with the 9th episode of Ebola outbreak ever in their country. And this is the worst one that they have experienced. I was looking at the WHO bulletin that is issued out this morning, and from 4th April 2018 to 20th May 2018, a cumulative total of 51 EVD cases, including 27 deaths, with a case fatality rate of 52.9%, meaning the number of persons that are having the disease and die is 52.7%. So you should know it's a very high case fatality rate, meaning we're dealing with actually disease like Ebola that can kill very fast like that. And they have reported of the 51 cases, 28 have been confirmed of Ebola, 21 probable, and 2 remain suspected cases. And healthcare workers, 5 have been affected from the DRC outbreak. I know people are concerned about international travel. The World Health Organization International Health Regulation Committee has declared that the situation in DRC is still at a low risk and has not posed threat to international travel. It has not reached to the level of it being declared.
Well, speaking further, Atty. Nyensuah affirmed the outbreak of Lassa fever in some rural areas in Liberia, but said it is under control as Liberia can now diagnose the disease by itself. He also said that Ebola can now be detected within 48 hours with the availability of an Ebola diagnostic machine in the country.
We've been dealing with Lassa fever outbreak in the country Lassa fever is a viral disease. It's zoonotic, meaning animals can give it to human beings. In this case, the vectors are rats or rodents. A lot of our counties that are most affected and endemic with Lassa fever, that you can find Lassa fever, are mostly in Nima, Bong, Grand Bassa, Lofa County. The outbreak we're dealing with now is around those areas. There are evidence of importation to 3 other counties like Moserado, Maigibi, and Grand Cru. Cases coming from these areas are scattered all over the place. Lassa is a very virulent virus disease that can affect humans. But we also have this under control by the fact that it's endemic and people are still eating rats, leaving their food open. We still have the cases coming up and affecting people. But measures are being put in place to respond to this, especially for the counties that we are seeing Lassa fever outbreak in recent time. One of the things that we're proud of is in the last, since the Institute of Public Health was established, we fought very hard to diagnose Lassa fever in Liberia. For over 170 years, Lassa fever has been very difficult to diagnose here. We used to take our specimen to Kinema in Sierra Leone, the lab there. But today, we can test for Lassa fever in Liberia in our lab at the National Reference Laboratory in Charlesville. We've increased our diagnosis capacity. It was taking Liberia 90 days to detect disease like Ebola. But today, it's taking Liberia less than 24 to 48 hours to know a result. 90 days is 3 months to know a result of a pathogen like Ebola that will cause an outbreak in the population. So,
well, the managing director of the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation, LWSC for short, has assured President Weah and Liberians of supplying water into Central Monrovia within 90 days. Dwana Kamara also recounted progress made by the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation under the pro-poor agenda. He spoke Thursday in Monrovia.
Our president and the Liberian people, that we will try to give you water in 90 days into Central Monrovia. The reason why I say this is from the assessment that we have been able to conduct. We are working with the World Bank, and we are working with the African Development Bank. They have done a very good job for us here. And I want to say thank you to all of them in this sector for giving us this big boost. We have the soil cleaning area, that we got a water facility now being erected. We got one in New Georgia. These facilities will soon be commissioned. Then we got another station here in Fiamma. What you see being constructed in Fiamma is a booster. What do I mean by that? The pipe that runs from White Plains that come into Monrovia, the first step is around the health ministry, which is a 36-inch pipe. Leaving from the Ministry of Health, coming to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we have a 24-inch pipe that carries our processed water from the treatment plant. Now, the force, the gravity, because of the demand capacity, because of the growth in the population and the demand for water, we do not have enough gravity to pump the water from a 40-kilometer distance to be able to cleanse Central Monrovia. So that's why the African Development Bank and the government of Liberia, through LWSC, constructed the booster station that you now see at the Fiamma. When that station is completed, hopefully by the 31st, between now and the 12th of next month, we will begin to lift the water we take the water from the water treatment plant and pump it into that booster. The booster is capable of holding 2 million gallons. What will happen at that point? We have another pump that will take the water from that booster station all the way to our another booster station we have, Nickel Street and Kerry, which we now on the weekend of the day, and we're going after it. So we push the water into that booster station, and another machine will pump that water into the water tower. And you have a
Deputy Minister for Press and Public Affairs at the Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism has described as nonsensical, careless and baseless front page Africa News report with the headline Mandingo Tribe Sues Government. According to Minister Eugene Fagon, it is unfortunate for Front Page Africa to carry such a caption in its newspaper when it was just a group of Mandingos in Ganta who filed the lawsuit against the government. Minister Fagon spoke during his usual housekeeping at Minke's press briefing Thursday.
State for the record that the Mandingos, like the Kus, like the Grebels, like the Golas, is a tribe. And I think it's unfortunate that a newspaper will insinuate that a tribe in the Republic of Liberia have sued the Liberian government. That is totally false. That is baseless. And that is a serious misinformation that I think Front Page should somehow hold itself responsible for. We have Mandingos in Bomi, as many of you know. We have Mandingos in Lufa. We also have Mandingos in Ganta. So for a Ganta support group to carry out a lawsuit, it's not wrong, especially with a co-partner in the lawsuit being an individual. It's not wrong. But for you to carry the headline that the Mandingos have sued the government, I think it's careless, very careless. And I think the Front Page Africa group should take responsibility for such nonsensical headline.
Well, the office of the First Lady of Liberia has unveiled several initiatives or priorities it hopes to undertake for underprivileged Liberians. Arthur Douglas is the media relation officer in the office of the First Lady of the Republic of Liberia, and he spoke today at Minke's press briefing.
First Lady is aimed at ensuring that the lives of the underprivileged Liberians, those disadvantaged people of our country, have hope. These lives are raised up to a standard that they can believe they are part of the society. She wants to ensure that they can have that opportunity to reach the fullest of potential in life. Now, you may ask, who are those people we're talking about? Just go right next door, the orphans. The Ebola crisis even intensified what the 14 years or more civil crisis left onto us. There are too many orphans in our country. Our young brothers and sisters who are on the street, drug-addicted young people. We call them Zokos, which, is quite a very negative term we don't want to use. We talk about the street girls, the street children. Many of us have said it over and over again. Children in the streets selling. These are things that are at the heart of the First Lady. The women. Talking about rural women. Talking about the elderly. I mean, our senior citizens. Imagine these people worked for us to make sure we are what we are today. But go just visit some places and see how the old people are left to fend for themselves. So these are the disadvantaged or underprivileged people that our First Lady is geared towards ensuring that their lives are improved. And this is not a...
Well, that's Arthur Douglas, our media relation officer in the office of the First Lady of the Republic of Liberia. If you just joined us, it's a reminder that you view a Situation Report on Live TV. It's 30 minutes contemporary happenings about Monrovia, Liberia. My name is Yekezi Zobel, anchoring this presentation of the program, and trending stories following today say the Liberia National Police discloses several arrests made over the last few days. Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation promises to supply Central Monrovia with water within 90 days. And passengers in Monrovia complain about a drastic increase of transportation fare in the country. At this juncture, I would like to take a break to be right back with the rest of our developments. Well, a pleasant welcome back to the program. Passengers in Monrovia are complaining about the drastic increase of transportation fare in the country. Some of the passengers told Situation Report that they are currently being charged exorbitantly by commercial drivers and riders to their various destinations, something they say is posing serious challenge to their day-to-day movement. The citizens want the government to intervene in the situation immediately before it gets out of control.
Is the what the product?
The product?
Yes.
Are you talking about product?
Are we talking about fuel that I use in my car?
Okay.
Okay. And for one part, I pay what? Some area I pay $4.95. Some area I paid $500 like total because I use total gas.
You said fuel again, you say gas. Which one?
I say I use total fuel.
Okay, you use total fuel.
Yes, it's $500 for gallon. Okay, so if we're taking a 60, it will not make it. And I drive for somebody. So it's so frustrating for every Liberians in the republic. So even when we add 10 out of there, they just call a lot of noise. But it's
gasoline price going up to $5.20. If you go to Total, you can buy gas to Total for $5.20. And rather we benefit nothing when they can get right on it. About me, I reported 2,000 out on the KK. And rather I get benefit nothing, and the police, the government police get you on hard time every day. On one person arrest you, they will tell you to buy and file a striker, which of course won't benefit nothing. The same transportation, who's take people from here, Papa, like same transportation, they still paying. Even when they say gasoline price going on, they will say the president when the president put there so ready. I really want for the government to do something about the gasoline price.
Well, we're sorry for bringing you the wrong clip for that story, but those were drivers and riders giving their reasons of blaming the increase of transportation fare on the increase of gas on the Liberian market. So let's now bring you the clip of citizens complaining about the increase of transportation fare in the country.
Well, I didn't see the justification in it. Because if you are increasing the gas, automatically you're supposed to give the reason. Is it the gas, is this scarce in the world market? Or reason, because we didn't hear it at the radio. How did they come to that agreement of increasing their gas? Nobody knows. It can come up in the morning, you will see by the sidewalk, you see the increase of the gas. And that is the reason why the taxi and the bus drivers capitalize to squeeze the masses. And even though if they increase the gas, you check it fair, it doesn't warrant you to increase the fare almost 100%. Even though they themselves, they are human beings, they could have get in touch with the commerce. That's the reason why the oil distributors are increasing the thing, because as they put in it, they are increasing it, they are affecting themselves. Because the time they themselves will know that the things are going wrong, before you know it, the masses might get angry and you start fighting. And when the drivers and the carbo start fighting and passenger, it will create sensation. And when you started creating sensation, then you know that the country is heading to somewhere, and which the government need to come in and stop anything will create sensation, because now everybody is going peacefully. And what can cause sensation in any country is hardship.
Well, the transportation fare these days are increasing. Only for the travel to tell that increasement in gases. So because of that, the transportation fares are being increased. Instead of paying $20 for a short distance, now we're paying $30 because of the increasement of gas. You know, it's very bad for we the citizens. You know, the transport minister, the transport ministry, they are very indolent. In other words, they are applying some lackadaisical behavior on their job. At least they can help. Yeah, for you see, they don't have a specific price. They know the prices that they have for transportation or distance. They are not following up these prices. Or driver can come and design own price and say from here to go Banave, I will charge you $100. You know, say no price control. You know, do it at your own will, which of course is bad. We need people that will go on the fee, and when they say there's the specific price, because we know that gas prices increase, we know. Because gas prices increase, we can put 20%. But instead, if we're paying $10, because gas price increase, you extend it to what? $30, which of course is bad. We want the transport ministry to help us in this process. And they got a fixed price for every distance in this country. If you say $30 to go from here, or Mama Point, that should be $30. If the gas price increase, you put $5 on it, or the minimum should be $10.
For all, we need to pay $40 for 11th Street red light. For now, the driver are charging $120, $100. If you're not waiting to pay, they tell you get down. And the next person see anybody, they are waiting because they can afford it. So when you can afford that price, definitely you will stay down and the man will carry. The person not waiting to go, and it affects our business greatly, because you can pay $100 from here. Let's say from a single red light, you go buy something like worth $5. You will not sell it $5 when you bring it in town. You want to add the money, the transportation fare.